Since the trade deadline, your power play is converting at 26%. Is it just Kuzmenko?
No, it's not just Kuzmenko. I mean, the second group scored tonight. Is that their second one since the trade deadline, or the first? I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I think it's probably their first. So it's the other group's got the rest, and then Phil's, that was their first one since the trade deadline. No, but I mean, it looks a lot better, doesn't it, with Kuzmenko? Is that, whether we scored or not, can we all agree that it looks a lot more dangerous? You're seeing the puck go down to him on the goalie right side quite a bit more, and then tonight was just a special play. He sells it with his eyes. He passes it between the feet. He tried to draw that up, but somebody's got to be able to make that play at that high level, and it was pretty good.
It wasn't just an individual play. I mean, he takes the punishment from Shesterkin, and he almost set up Kempe from one right before. Was that kind of like a whole variety pack of what he has to offer on the power play?
Yeah.
Looking at the shift in total.
I think if I talk about Kuzi, I thought that was by far his best game. I thought he was really good. And, we talked about he hasn't scored, but I thought he was playing all right. But you can see when a guy gets one, especially a guy like that, and how much better. It doesn't look like he just feels better. He's freer. I thought he looked really good tonight. I thought he was, one of the better players on the ice, both teams. He just was really, really good all over the ice. Fast on the back check, dangerous offensively on the power play, on 5-on-5, he controlled the puck. Yeah, really positive signs.
Any update you can give on Gino?
No update. I will tell you this, he's not going to travel with us to Colorado tomorrow, so I can give you that update. But beyond that, I don't know.
How unfortunate is that for the team right now, just with the last few games he's had, and the fourth line in general, what they've been able to provide?
Yeah.
Big loss.
He was really good at the start of the game tonight, too. He jumped out at me as well. It's maybe the Fight Club we talk about. We just talked about almost every night how good that line had been, and we lose Turk, and then consecutive games we lose Juno. So all of a sudden Sammy's the lone man. So that's going to hurt us because those guys were going so well. Somebody else is going to have to step up. We're going to have to find some chemistry, with somebody else. See who that is.
Is Turk not traveling to Denver?
I don't know that for sure, so I shouldn't say. I don't know that for sure yet.
Going back to Kuzmenko real quick, you talked about the on-ice impact. The off-ice impact, though, we talked after the first game, seemed like a real positive, kind of infectious guy. We said you need to wait to get to him a little better. Seems like he's just fitting that locker room perfectly. Can you just talk about off the ice, his fit?
Yeah, I think Brownie was just mentioned it, Newell Brown. Just he's got a lot of energy. He's got a lot of passion for life, for hockey. He's talking on the bench. He wants to look at the iPad. He's talking. Kopi and Juice have played together a lot. They're usually pretty stoic, and he's just right in there talking to them. So he's he's keeping them on their toes. And I think everybody, you spend any time around him, you guys have interviewed him, you can just see he's got a certain pizzazz to him. And I think that you need, I said it the other night, you need character and characters. And I think he fits right into one of the characters. And he adds something to the mix, just in the personality of the team.
With Fiala's 7 shots tonight, we're talking about that constantly. Shoot the puck, especially with him building his own confidence. How much do you guys talk about that? I don't care where you are, just keep shooting.
Yeah, I think that's something, Kevin and I talked about that probably 4 or 5 weeks ago. We had a conversation about that, specific. I mean, we talk about it from time to time, but a real specific conversation where, he said that he was just going to start focusing on that more. He was overpassing and not really thinking attack, and he's got a great shot. So, yeah, 7 shots tonight is a good night. He should be shooting, all the time. If he's guilty of anything, it's sometimes it's overpassing.
We've talked quite a few times about your conversations with Kevin. One of those you mentioned that he says he wants to play against the other team's best players in defensive situations. You guys maybe didn't want him there. I know there's a few ice things that cause it, but his line was out there late defending a lead. I mean, is that just showing the trust that he's gaining in those situations and how far along his game has come in those situations? Yeah,
I would say that. I mean, I know there were icings, but they stepped out there shortly before. We knew the goalie was going to come in and around that time. I think it was about 2:20, 2:10, somewhere in there. And then they ended up spending the rest of the time out there. So, yeah, we knew, he was getting a shot, just like Q and Laugh. And I thought that group of 5 with Eddie and Dewey, they did a great job there at the end. I know they had a couple in and around the net, but being tired like they were, I thought they dug in. And that 5-some really gave us a good 5-on-6 there at the end.
Trevor Moore used the word stability and leadership to describe Phillips' nose and impact. It seems like a player's
Yeah.
flown under the radar almost his entire career.
Yeah,
Games
yeah.
Today, scores in the power play goal. Just talk about his game today, maybe just the last few weeks for him.
I think the last few weeks from him, and maybe I'm stating the obvious, you guys watched the games too, been his best hockey of the year. I think Morsey's been better. I think that helps Phil. And now Fogues is, we've all talked about Fogues a lot. So the three of them with Phil and Morsey really playing a little bit more like we've expected them to play over the years. And then Fogues playing well. I think that line really has a good identity. And Phil, you're right, he flies under the radar. He just does his job, isn't the top scorer, isn't on the first power play, but he penalty kills other teams' best. He's just very, very dependable, and he's got good offensive skill. When he gets a chance to shoot it, he hit the post earlier, makes nice passes, a great setup to Fogues the other night. So he's just one of those guys, doesn't get spoken about, likely, but important to any type of winning team. Critical player.
If I'm reading this right, Darcy, 15-1 at home, the season that he's had.
You'll have to ask DB if that's true or not. It's true? Yeah, okay, confirm it. I don't know what he is.
Yeah, he's, again, tonight, a strong shot for him.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
The season he's had and this stretch over these last several games, it seems every night.
Yeah.
he played for-
Yeah, and you know what, by, I don't know what it was, less than a centimeter, or we're in the U.S., so I'm going to say, what would that be, a quarter of an inch? Third of an inch? Yeah, 3/8. He almost had that one too, right? And there was a bit of a white. It was the right call for sure, but that was a pretty incredible save, and that would have been another shutout for him. So, he's been terrific. Yeah.
Jim, the Boston game's the only game in the last 10 you guys gave up the first period goal.
Really?
Yeah.
Slow on the draw.
I'm just, is that been a focus, talking about just making, not him to chase the game? I guess it's always.
Yeah, that's every team's focus. Every team's focus, whether you're playing at home or on the road, the first goal, it's so much like of a one-goal game. You know what I mean? And I think for us in particular, well documented, we don't score a ton. So if we can get the lead, force other teams to chase it a little bit, that helps us create more offense on top of it. So it's yeah. I didn't know that we had done that well. Yeah, it felt pretty good, but yeah, really, really important part of the game, that first goal.
Addressed 3 penalties in the second period.
Yeah.
It's got to be a welcome sight for a team that hasn't drawn well.
Mhm.
You cash in on 2, take a power play. How dangerous is he when he gets his feet moving and gets going downhill like that?
Yeah, well, he's a hard guy to contain, and he's not just straight line skater. Q is agile too, so he can get you this way. He's quick, so it's a hard guy to contain. I think that should be something as he continues to play, that we see he draws penalties. He should be able to do that. And I think sometimes he's guilty of trying to beat people one-on-one with his hands. And as he's going, if he's starting to do it with his hands and his feet, you'll have to haul him down, because he can get a step on you and you're not going to get him once he gets a step.
Jim, so many of the conversations are about, do what we're doing, just focus on ourselves, don't look at the other team, etc. Kevin just mentioned something, though, about I'm paraphrasing, the benchmark games and the importance of beating a Ranger team when you look at the upcoming schedule. Has the narrative sort of changed a little bit, that it's not just about LA playing their game, it's also about taking a look at the opponent as you prepare for the playoffs?
We knew the Rangers was a big game for the Rangers tonight, right? They're in a fight themselves, so we knew we were going to get their best. So I think probably those are the things that he would mean. You're playing a team that's desperate, fighting for the playoffs. They're going to be at the top. They're an extremely talented team, dangerous. But I think back to, the Islanders have gone on a great run, but Nashville came in there. Those were 2 of the closest games that we've probably had, as far as, just hanging on. In the Nashville game, we had 6 shots on goal halfway through the game. The Islanders put all kinds of heat on us. So those games, I think probably our team gets up for a little bit more. But every game seems to me like it's a battle for us. You know what I mean? So they probably feel that. I wish they didn't feel that as much. I just wish that they, played as hard against some of the teams that maybe lower in the standings as the benchmarks games, as Kevin's referring to. But I get it. It is human nature. You see that team come in.
Why is the team so comfortable playing close games?
we just have played so many of them. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. There's a good one. There's always the stat about how many minutes have you been down one, tied, or up one. At 5 on, oh no, not 5 on 5. Just in this, I would have to think we're a team that's near the top of that category. That we're just, it's always like that. But I will say, in those moments, this is where guys like Kopi, and we talk about these guys a lot, but Kopi and Drew, Kemps as a veteran goaltender like that, Phil is a guy who's had a long career. Those guys, Joel Edmondson, they're just calm. You know, you can get a little, they're just calm. They just know, you know, let's go, boys. You know, we're all right here. And that goes a long way in those moments.
I was gonna say, how impressed are you, though, the fact that you tied your franchise record tonight at home,
Yeah.
26 wins, and you still have 7 more games?
Yeah, that's great. We talked about it. I think that's that's on everybody. You know what I mean? The fans, the building, like it's just really, really something to be proud of, and we will. But we got lots left.
Jamie, you have a player in Alex Ferrier right now. Feels like he just can't buy goals.
Yeah.
Recently, he's a player that can contribute in a lot of ways, even if it's not going in for him. But as a coach, how do you try and balance not wanting to focus on it too much again, thinking about it too much, but make sure he kind of stays encouraged and doesn't get too down and not going in for him?
You know, Laugh has such a level head. He's a pretty practical person. He understands. We talked the other day. He nailed it. He goes, I'm getting lots of chances. He was fine. You know, everybody wants it to go in, but he's fine. He understands he's playing well, which he is, playing lots. And there'll be a day, I don't know, someday, next season, the year after, there'll be a season where he really does just break out. I believe that. He's been snake bitten, but he provides a lot of value, does a lot of good work. He's a good hockey player.
You didn't credit the media for your home record.
Maybe it would be better. Maybe it would be better. Maybe we wouldn't have lost 3. I don't know. Who knows?
Thanks, Jim.
Okay? Good. Thanks.